G'day everyone, and thanks again for tuning into my channel. As promised, the controversial subject of work camping, also known as woofing in some countries or areas. So first off, I am not an immigration officer. I don't work for CBP or CBSA. So this is really just about my own opinion and my own experiences on the subject. As some of you already know, Canada and the US do share many of the same rules. Also, different provinces and different states have minor differences as well, and you should be aware of all those before you travel. That way you don't encounter any difficulties. And when you do have some of these difficulties is because the interpretation of the laws or the rules is really dependent on how they're going to be enforced. And the way they're enforced is dependent on the person reading the rules. They usually come with their own preconceptions or their ideas as to what is legal, what is not, and you come to the table with the same misconceptions. So it's all upon you to make sure that you're aware of the differences for the states, for the provinces, for the countries, and so on. Now, you can get a work permit or a work visa if you plan on working, if you have a contract or if you have the required information to fill out the request for these documents. However, it's been my experience that when you go to your destination, you may not have plans to actually do any kind of work whatsoever. However, the situation may arise where you're offered an opportunity and you should know the rules and how to deal with that if this is something that you want to look into or if this is something that you want to take on. Now, I did find some information that would permit Canadians to work camp in the States, and these are listed right here from the Escapers website. You basically have to live on location at the employer's request because he needs you to, and you also must be there because the job requires it. So if you're a day laborer or whatever, and you also end up being a night watchman or do some security overnight, then maybe that's something you can set up with the employer. One word of caution is make sure you have everything on paper so that if any questions arise, both sides will be able to answer those questions and everything will be on the up and up. But I strongly recommend that you go to the Escapers website and you read the entire document because it is quite extensive. So now that we got rid of all the legal stuff, let's get into some pictures of my first experience at work camping in Texas, which was the winter of 2019. And after the pictures, I'll have some video where I'll introduce some of the characters that I ended up working with. Altogether, looking back, it was a positive experience, and I hope you enjoyed these pictures. As you can see here, my rig is set up in a regular campsite with power, lights, and Wi-Fi. Bonus was a picnic table that Becca liked to jump on. Speaking of which, here she is getting out of the sun. The sun was quite hot during the day. And here's my neighbor, Army Chick. You'll see her later on in the videos. She's repainting her rig. And that's the dog playing with her cat. And this is Becca, who had found a frog to chew on. So we had to put the little collar on her because her mouth would swell up if because they're toads, they're not just frogs. Now, I was speaking earlier about the good, the bad, the ugly. Here's some example of the flowers that we found. They're quite nice. I think they're weeds though, because they grew all over the place. Here's a picture of some cactuses, and while we were working, we ended up bumping into some little critters that were not so pretty. This is a black widow, and these are scorpions. You need to watch out for those. They don't move around very fast, but you still don't want to be stung by one. I'd never seen an armadillo before, so that was an interesting one because they only come out at night. And this picture is of a centipede with a red head, and it's about ½ inch wide by 6 inches long, so it gives you an idea. So this is the picture of the ladies I was working with, Janice, Army Chick, Wendy, and Miss T. And quite a cast of characters, fun people to work with, and were absolutely great. This is Army Chick and Miss T sharing a meal, literally, and enjoying a campfire. We had 1 or 2 of those. This is a funny sign that we thought we would post on this video, just because not a lot of people go to a campsite and see that the speed is monitored by aircraft before. So now getting back into the actual work camping, the work that we did, you'll see in the video that it was quite a bunch of junk there. There was quite a lot of work. This is one of the trailers that we basically didn't always have a truck to pull, so we ended up pushing it by hand. This is the little kiddie park that we fixed up. You'll see in the video the way it used to look and how it looks now, the before and after. And this is the upstairs part of the office that was rented out as an apartment, and water had gotten through, so they asked me to fix it, and that's pretty much the instructions I got. Here you go, fix it. So this is the work I ended up doing to fix the wall, and they wanted the door closed permanently, so that's what I did. Speaking of doors, we were put on a project to make some shower doors. So we got some cedar from the Home Depot locally, and we ended up making these of our own design. We figured out a way to hang them on the concrete walls, and made the washroom look much nicer than it was when we got there.